You were really sad Putin's got cancer?
What?
Sweat Equity Podcast
What?
and streaming show, the #1 comedy business podcast in the world. Yeah, Ric Flair, I hear you. Pragmatic entrepreneurial advice with a real raw dog talk. Listen to us on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, kinda Vimeo for sure, because we're hot on Vimeo, baby. LinkedIn, your mom's Sony Walkman, all that stuff. Hey, hey, you like that?
I'm here.
Just
I'm
doing
paying
that.
attention.
Just doing that. Hey, hard. This episode is sponsored by Squarespace. Create a custom website or online store with an all-in-one solution from our dogs at Squarespace. We've made about 200 sites or worked on 200 Squarespace sites on our own, probably at this point.
You say that.
That's a lot, for sure. But it's my go-to for a CMS, content management system. You can you've got Fluid Engine now that you can make websites any which way you want it. No programming, no coding, unless you want to. It's up to you.
Okay.
You can add integrations, no problem, lickety split.
I want money.
You start with that free trial today with the link in our episode description. And if you don't need a website, you should need a website. Everybody should have one. But if you don't need one, and you want to help out the show, you can be our BFFs by subscribing to the podcast and whatever you listen it to. Rate it 5 stars. Give us a little hookup. Holler if you hear me.
Okay.
And write a short review. And then share the show. All that takes 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe 90.
Do it, though.
Maybe 90
Actually
if you're
do it.
driving, right? Just do it. Share the show. Hey, here's something you like. Dick jokes and business, right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship and vagina stuff. Let's get it going. Hotty toddy.
Sweat equity. Sweat equity.
Sweat equity.
Sweat equity.
Sweat equity. You are listening to the Sweat Equity Podcast. Sweat equity.
So I was watching your podcast the other day, and here you go. There's the bang.
Oh yeah. So the Bang. I hate walking around with a Bang energy drink because it is the new no fear shirt to me.
Okay.
I don't know. There's something about I work out in a gym that is a lot of bodybuilders and a lot of kind of really insecure, yoked people, and they all carry around either a jug of liquid that is not water. It looks like
Zephyr Hills gallon thing of protein.
or an old
Spaghetti.
milk carton of what looks like coolant,
Right.
and then the other half drinks the Bang energy drink, and it just feels very
In your face.
yeah. It's like, oh hey, Monster, we're gonna ramp it up a bit, but yeah, I do look like
Monster's all sugar, man, and the bang has like 300 milligrams of caffeine. So
yeah, but it's more about it's a good pre-workout thing. If I'm doing weights, Bang is good for that, and they have key lime pie flavor.
Ooh.
Do you know that? My favorite pie.
Ooh, tasted like a key lime pie when I was having a heart attack.
Well, it's got creatine in it too, which is good.
Oh. Yeah, and I'll look swole
Dude,
as I die.
These sleeves if you're watching on video, these sleeves they just popped off. They got scared.
Mine too. Whatever.
Thomas Ryan, do you go by Thomas? Tommy?
I usually go by Tom.
T-Dog?
Good.
All right.
Passed our test.
Why don't you
Cool guy test.
tell the audience, because we set you up so well after talking about energy drinks.
I didn't know we were on air yet. That was
yeah.
on the air.
Oh, you probably didn't listen
You're
to too many
always on
episodes. Yeah,
air.
you didn't listen to too many episodes, I guess. Well, we kind of keep it. We want to keep this a conversation, like if you were in the room. So, our whole thing is about the business content that's out there. It's not really helpful.
It's so boring.
And
It's
it's not.
It really is.
And it doesn't feel genuine. right? A lot of the time, it feels very like, what would a PR person tell me to do? That's that's the kind
Are you talking about everything posted on LinkedIn?
Yeah, we like to
Pretty
say
much any interaction. Oh, you want to connect with me and learn more about what I do?
Yeah,
Is that so?
Yeah, LinkedIn's becoming kind of.
You came in quick with that sales pitch, quick and hard. Like, come on, man.
Every time I accept someone on LinkedIn right now, I get a sales pitch automated like 10 seconds later.
Well, the irony is that's how we met. Is when your business development people hit me up. Can I read the pitch?
I'm not saying it doesn't work.
No.
I'm just saying, it's.
Can I tell? But it was such a good pitch. I was like, yeah, I gotta check this out. Oh, that's our Otter AI coming in. What's it called? Your guy Juan hit me up with a message that caught my eye. I bet $100 that your business has 100% or greater return on investment with a video text blast using Bigly Sales. I will pay you $100 with Zelle or Venmo and return all the money spent in text campaign if it doesn't work. That caught my. I like the blunt boldness of that, and that's how we started talking.
Well, I'm a riverboat gambler at heart, so.
Well, but it's put up or shut up time. But why don't you? I mean, when you're throwing it out there, and it's something that's so performance based, why not, right? But I cut you off before you could give everybody your plugs, where people can find you personally and your business.
Oh, check us out at biglysales.com. If you go to biglysales.com, if you want to get a hold of me, just book a call, and I'll probably be there. And we'll help you set everything up. So I can tell you, I came from the staffing industry, and pretty much everyone treats you like a leper, right? There's so many people trying to do it, and you are the last resort for all of these guys. If they need a consultant or a full-time person, you're their last hope. And they only come to you if they're totally desperate and they can't find anywhere else for cheaper, right? Versus this, where we're saving small businesses money, and all of the clients are super happy to, kind of talk to us and to see what we're doing, and they love that we actually help them out, because most software companies, they give you the software and they throw you to the wolves. Can you give the elevator pitch of Bigly Sales? Sure. Bigly Sales, it's the only pay-as-you-go communication platform for small business. So $5, you can get up and running, and you can automate all your email campaigns and text campaigns. You can power dial, and what we're building out now is all the automations to basically automate every contact you're going to have with someone in your database over the next year. Yeah, you're going to take me off Pipedrive, I think, with this.
Sounds like the text messaging, to me, is the big part. I mean, emailing, that's been around, but the texting has always had that phone number component to it and all that stuff. Yeah, the texting, we've had to deploy campaigns where you're doing email and text, and usually the software isn't, it's a feature on a software that is like an anchor software of email, right? Email marketing. And then they add texting onto it. It doesn't really work as well as you want it to. You try to make an automated journey. Right. Well, I know you know what I'm thinking of. No, I know. Well, the email software works well for email, but to get the text messaging done right, it's usually through like a call routing software or like something on that side of it is usually where the text messaging works well. You have to get an integration with Zapier. It's like they rarely mix together well, and that you're not using, you're not having two different things you have to do to get it out. That's kind of why I built this, right? Because you'd have one system for your phones, and you'd have one system for texting, which is usually someone's phone. They wouldn't even use a system, right? Most of the time. And then you'd have one system for email, and then you'd have to manually data enter everything in the CRM, which if you're actually doing it, takes an hour to a day, and no one wants to do it. So all the sales reps hate it. They all don't want to do it. None of the data gets into your CRM or a fraction of the data, and it's garbage in, garbage out. And, a lot of the small businesses don't get the ROI. And really what I'm trying to do is get small businesses off of Google Sheets and Excel and start using this, because with this, I can click one button and send out 10,000 text messages, send out 10,000 emails. Yeah, and it should be in its own separate it should be siloed there. Like CRM should be siloed with email deployment and text deployment, Yeah.
Everything's going to be like that in 10 years, And you can get that today with like Salesforce or HubSpot, but they're asking for
$50,000 a year.
Yeah, six-figure check. No.
Right. Depending,
they told me
that's bare
at
bones.
Salesforce, they're like, you want to put all your contacts in the database. It was going to be like $500,000. I had a business with 10 people at the time. It's like, come on, guys. I mean,
just have a bunch of
you can just
computers
take
laying
some in
around.
and put them out, and, you can, every time you want to do something, you take them out and put more back. It's like, get out of here.
But you're right. That's the only thing that does it all. It's $500,000.
Yeah.
Good luck.
And look,
Good luck getting to the next level.
necessity breeds innovation, and I've been on the interface. I've been through the pitch with you guys. I'm waiting on my $100, by the way. But it's
Did you not get your ROI? You didn't get the ROI on it?
I got 0 because I put 0 in. No, I've been
credits, man.
I'm working on a campaign, and then I'm going to push it out for the agency. But for I talked to you, truth to the or full disclosure to the audience. We talked before, and I go, we had such a good kind of back and forth about y'all's platform. I was like, why don't you come on the show and talk about it? Because this is sales is an interesting. It's an interesting psychology in business, like the way you all made this app simplified in a good way, meaning like I'm not saying like it's simple. If anybody's just not really like, think Apple when they came out with stuff that the second wave of Apple, basically they designed everything to be user like so easy in the user experience, user interface that kids that are 1 year old can use an iPad, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel like
My 3-year-old was using an iPad like nothing.
I feel like y'all kind of solved the same thing where Windows was very convoluted and used to be expensive personally for everybody. And Apple came in and like, we'll make this easier for everybody. Less frustration. Salespeople, your general salesperson not the biggest tech person.
No,
not usually on the vanguard of innovation when it comes to tech. They're not
You got
reading.
to be out pounding the pavement.
Well, if anything, most of the people I know in sales, they despise it. They want it. They hate it.
Yeah. It's going to take my job.
Everyone
somehow.
hates CRM. And CRM, for the people who don't know, it's customer relationship management. It's any computer system that actually stores data, stores contacts when you talk to people. So any system like that.
I got a question about reporting on the. I mean, how does it work?
You got to put your nicotine gum in like a dip.
How does it work?
I went from smoking 3 cigarettes a day to 3 packs of the nicotine gum.
This is the first piece I've had in a
And
minute.
it's more expensive. He got me addicted to nicotine gum.
What a
monster!
Don't put it on me.
What a monster!
Put that on me.
It's like that's what I think of with Bigley. It's like giving kids cigarettes in the schoolyard, right?
There we go.
They're going to keep using
There's
it.
your tagline.
Once you get them on there.
I got flavored cigarettes for you.
So it's basically a direct to customer system. How much reporting do you guys? How much leave? Because I haven't been in it. I haven't looked at it, and I'm just curious because that's always the big problem. Nobody can see what is getting accomplished. How do you show your customers what's getting done?
So you can actually see everything, right? If you do a campaign, right? So you blast out email or text, you'll see the open rate. You can see every single response to that campaign. So then you can go and figure out, wait a minute, I wrote this one way and I got a 5% response rate. And I wrote it this way and I got a 15% response rate. And you know what's working, you know what isn't, you see what the replies are. You can see if people are angry, if they're, upset about what you're doing or what you're saying to them, or if they're very, into it.
Can we do this? Can you make him a co-host and he can share his screen so he can walk us?
He's got it pulled up.
He can get us a test drive. Now you got to remember we have a mostly audio audience, so I might fill in any gaps if it feels like it's too visual.
Yeah, no worries.
But I like to interrupt a lot.
Go back. Well, I just ask about the reporting because it's like always a thing where the person who hires you or gets Bigley is all on board and they're good to go, but then the person who's actually paying for it doesn't always have a good way of digesting it and what they're getting.
No, That's very real and very true. So with this, we have it set up that if you're running a business and you have some salespeople working for you, you can see everything. So I'm going to go and click on stats here, and I'll show I did a couple of email campaigns.
Can you zoom in a little bit? We just have our screens 4 feet away from
I have
us.
like a 36-inch monitor. So.
It's not about size,
That's what
I've heard.
Yes, it is.
I'm
Monitor?
6'4", and I've got size 15 shoes, so it's...
Ooh, hey.
All right. I get the subtext. You got a big hammer.
Got a big monitor.
Mine.
I got a big monitor. That's right.
Yeah.
All right. So this is something that we sent out the other day, and you can see. Okay, there was 25,459 sent.
It's an event,
25,356 deliveries. We had 4,996 opens. We had almost 3,000 unique opens. There was 14 failures. So we do a bunch of stuff to like sanitize your database as well. As soon as you send to an email and it's bad, we pull it out of the system. We don't send to it again because that's one of the things that all the spam filters look like. And we're in like a constant fight with Google and Microsoft and AT&T and Verizon to get the messages through. So we're always trying to do like best practices and kind of get everyone on board with the best practices. I can see every person who's responded to this email, right?
I'm going to shift away
if
from
I
that
go into
because
events, I can literally go down here and I can filter, okay, how many people clicked? How many bounces did I have? How many were blocked by, by one of the carriers?
So it looks like SendGrid is integrated in there for the bouncing of the emails.
Yeah, we're using SendGrid on the back end to route the messages out. And, you can go and do that yourself. Anyone can go and set that up, but unless you're a computer programmer and you know what a DMARC is and an SPF, and, you probably shouldn't. You should probably leave it to someone else because it's really hard.
Yeah.
So
email's weirdly hard.
And the texts with 10DLC coming in, which is the new 10-digit long codes that are out there.
So you're talking about how it used to be like text 55755 for this thing, and then now
text you could just send 2 years ago, you could send out something on text and it was getting through. Right? They didn't care. Everything was going to get through.
Oh, it's a security thing.
You could send whatever. And now you start sending bad texts because we keep having people come onto our platform like scammers. And as soon as we get 20 spam reports, we bounce them off the system. We block their account. And then, we check out, hey, what did these guys send that created all these spam reports? And usually they're trying to steal people's identities and stuff like that. We throw them off the system. We've had to spend so much time and effort and money on security, trying to stay compliant with all the rules.
Compliance might be one of those boring words growing up, like mortgage, that I didn't really get, until way too late as an adult. But like compliance, we're gonna have a lot more discussions about compliance and privacy issues and data, and how your personal data is getting out there. It's like becoming a bigger deal.
Well,
the
I
new
gotta tell you,
iOS,
this is a good thing.
The new iOS, how if you go to delete a text message right away, it gives you the option delete and report as junk. That's new.
Yeah.
You can immediately do that
right.
now.
That's exactly right. And if we get 20 spam reports, we're booting someone off until we review it. So if they sent out 10,000 messages, you're going to have 20 people who say stop. But if you're sending out 500 or something, or a few hundred, and all of a sudden you're getting more than 20 spams, there's probably something wrong there.
So don't use this to send out a dick pic or a clamgram if I'm a lady?
No, here's what they're doing. Here's what people are doing. And this is why it's actually good that they're doing the compliance. You've probably never heard about this from anyone else. It's not just dick pics, but it usually is someone sending a message like, hey, your package, there's a problem with your package.
Got one today,
USPS,
got one of those today.
Or at FedEx, please click on this link.
Yep.
Right? And that link is going to be something designed to steal your identity. It's going to be a phishing link. Right? So the phone companies, they don't want that. And I don't want that either. What we want is people to get a text message and see it and know that it's safe. And then they can open it. And, the way the text is supposed to work and the way that email is supposed to work, it's kind of like sex, right?
I'm listening.
You got us.
I need pointers.
As long as there's consent, it's okay. But if there's not consent, it's bad. right? You need to have consent.
Yes.
So it's.
But one of her
with this-
eyes said it was cool.
What's that?
It got dark. I was talking to someone. I was dating a chick recently. And, I was joking. I was like, "Do I have consent to kiss you right now?" And she was like, "We're not doing it.
anymore.
We're not going to do anything." You really whiffed on that joke, and now it's drier.
Not only was the joke not funny,
right?
Ruined the moment.
She was the one who didn't understand sarcasm, so it wasn't going to work out anyway.
It happens.
Yeah, but
You're like, this is totally going to work out.
boom! Oh wow, that was next level.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, you showed. I'm trying to find the site you showed me when we talked about a month ago. You were showing me it was all the big carriers, all the big phone carriers, and you can get off the spam list and stuff like that.
What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to register any campaign that you're doing with the campaign registry.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically a joint venture between AT&T, T-Mobile, and Verizon. And what they do is if they find someone who is sending out messages, if they find bad links, if they see a message with that link, they'll automatically block it. If they see someone who's sending out something with a bad phone number, they'll automatically block it. Right now, if you send out more than 50 or 100 messages through AT&T that are the same, they will block your messages until the next day. And if they determine that you are doing something malicious, they'll throw you off their platform. So
you got to be buddy with all the carriers. You got to work with them, not against them.
So the first thing that we want to do as soon as we have someone who's a campaign is we say, look, you need to get permission from people to send them stuff. If they don't want to hear from you, you can't just randomly spam them, right? But as long as you have their permission, this is magic. The text messages, I hate using these words. There's guys who are using our system who spent like $100 and they closed $50,000 in business. Because with the $100, they reached 10,000 people. They had a relatively high-ticket item. They were selling something that was like $5,000. It was $500 a month or something, $6,000, and they closed 10 deals off their first campaign with us. Right. So they turned 100 into $50,000 of revenue this year, $60,000 of revenue this year, right? So I mean, it's just.
So you heard it here, guys. So you put 100 in, you get $60,000 back. That's the guarantee.
Or your money back, or they pay you $60,000.
We're not guaranteed 100% all day, right?
Just
because
kidding.
The 100% is easy. Most people are getting back 20, 30, 50, 100 times what they put in.
Yeah.
So
no,
it's just a no-brainer for most companies.
Are y'all going to add direct mailer into this eventually?
Direct mail.
I love direct mail.
Probably not.
As a marketer, I love it because not in a spammy way because I don't do a lot of B2C stuff, but I love the you can get the bots that'll get your handwriting and actually hold a pen and do your handwritten thank you cards and stuff.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
It's getting cheaper now.
Yeah, great.
Thanks.
Until you buy one of the robot arms, you gotta have that thing sitting around your house all creepy.
But you did direct mail for
sentient,
a dentistry and had good success with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's a highly localized
I'll
thing.
give you my roadmap. I'll tell you what we're planning on doing. Right. So the first thing we're building out right now is all the automations, right? All the triggers and all the automations. So like if you miss a call, you can automate back a text. So someone calls your business, you're a plumber, you're, whatever, you're out and about, you can't answer the phone, you're on another call, and you're like a one-man shop, you automatically text them back. And if you don't text them back, you're going to lose that business, right? Mm-hmm. So, there's some immediate value add and stuff like that. And then automating all the sequences. Someone joins the database, you can send out a sequence of, emails and texts and put that stuff together. Where I'm going to send 10 messages over the next 10 weeks. Of all the different things.
A sequence for the low tech people listening, like a decision tree journey of sorts.
That's right. That's exactly right. And if this happens, then you send this email, and if this happens, then you send this email or this text message. And we're building out those journeys right now in the system. And again, you can buy something like SalesLoft that has that already, but you're talking 5 figures, 6 figures, right? So it's out of reach for most small businesses, just totally out of reach, and that's if you know how to set it up.
So to me, I feel like the final piece is the website chat bot for the lead capture side of things.
Yeah,
to kind of
we're going to
close
put
that
those in as
circle.
well.
So that is on the, okay, that's cool.
Talk to our boys at Zyrotalk.
So what we're going to do
Zyrotalk's
is,
legit.
Yeah.
I think you read my mind. What we're going to do is we're going to start with landing pages. We have an email generator. We can put together like a cool looking email in about 5 minutes, and you're going to be able to do the same thing with a landing page. You're going to be able to pick a picture from Unsplash, or we're probably going to do a Stable Diffusion AI thing where you can write the AI
That's cool.
and tell it what you want, and it'll just throw the picture up there. And then on that, we're going to have a Calendly type clone, which you can schedule appointments from there. And we're going to have a lead capture form. And as soon as it goes into the system, then you can start the sequences on it. And then we're going to finish up by being able to send out invoices and do payments directly through the system as well.
Yep.
So that's my roadmap for the next year or so of development.
And
It's an easy way to get consent.
how big is Bigly? How long y'all been around? I can't remember.
So I launched in July. We have 57,700 people as of earlier today who've signed up with us.
That's incredible. How good everything is already.
This is since July.
7 months old.
Wowee.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks
thank
great.
you.
And the roadmap is very that sounds like a very efficient, smart roadmap to keep adding those, adding parts to the game, but really focusing on this main aspect of it first.
And that's it, because people want one tool that does it all. You don't want to have to figure out Zapier, right? I don't want to know how to do a Zap to integrate this to my spreadsheet, to integrate this to something else. And I'm sorry, salespeople just aren't going to sit down and figure that out. Like 99% of them aren't going to sit down and figure that out.
Y'all aren't going to get
Even
into
the people
the
that are supposed to figure it out don't figure it out.
you're not going to get into the form game because forms are starting to get expensive like this in a smaller scale. But
Well, he doesn't need a form game.
I know, but if you
Well,
have your
we're basically
website,
going to have the form on the landing
Right.
page, right? So the landing page is going to be the front end of the funnel. It's going to automatically go into the system.
Right.
You're going to automatically get consent when someone, fills out the form, or when they go and schedule a meeting with you. And, then it goes into the system for the outreach and the tracking and the automations. And then at the end of the journey, you can send them an invoice and have them, pay automatically, either through text or email.
Well,
That's where I'm going.
Yeah, that's smart. Like Recurly, but better touch points. But we want to hear about you. And we forgot to ask at the top, what advice would you give your 13-year-old self?
What advice would I give my 13-year-old self? You guys are going to hate this, but I'm probably going to tell my 13-year-old self, don't drink. Don't drink, or don't marry your first wife.
That's a new one. That's
would be my two.
two new ones we haven't heard before.
I might throw that one in there on my Don't drink, that's fine.
You've been sober.
I've been sober now for months and months.
California sober.
California sober. 100% sober.
But look, I did 2 weeks and I was like, I'm good over the holidays.
Yeah,
I was
I
like,
heard your podcast about ruining Christmas. So
was that a big issue growing up? Were you a party animal? Were you coping with something?
I went to Tulane in
boy.
New Orleans.
Yeah.
I think I was drunk pretty much every day from 1996 through about 2014. So I said, I'm going to shut it down.
It's a
When I
long
had
time at
kids,
Tulane.
I said, call it a day.
Tulane's hard.
Yeah.
How many doctorates did you get at Tulane in 18
Doctorates?
years?
I got my, no, I wasn't in Tulane for that long.
Oh,
I was
thank
living
God.
in New Orleans, and I was back in Boston for a year, and then I was down in South Florida ever since. So I got my master's at Miami. But the school thing was, never really that hard for me.
Well, it sounds like,
You grew up in
kind
Boston.
of needed to work out that way.
New Orleans is the opposite of Boston in my head.
It's the exact opposite of Boston. Boston, everything's like efficient, and people are on point, and like everything's lickety split.
Right, they're angry
New Orleans,
and
you
bright.
wait 45 minutes at Blockbuster, and there was 2 people in line and 7 people behind the counter.
Yeah.
Their airport's hilarious.
Yeah, well, you can walk around with a
where
hand or grenade drink
where
or
do you
whatever.
want to go?
I'm pretty sure everyone who planned that city was drunk at the time.
Right.
Right. Nothing makes sense down there. They were going to one of those drive-through daiquiri places, and
That does make sense.
Yeah, that works for me. I had New Orleans is. I can't believe you lived there that long and then went to Miami of all
I
places.
was there for 4 years. Yeah. And then I was in Miami forever, man. It was a long time.
How do you go from? Why did you go from? What was your upbringing in Boston like?
Well, I say Boston. I grew up in the suburbs. I grew up in the North Shore of Boston.
Okay.
So, reasonably sheltered up there in the suburbs. Right. If you looked at the demographics of the town I grew up in, I think it was like
Thomas Ryan.
98.7% white. And then, there was like one, African American family and one Hispanic family and one Asian family and, one Indian family. And that was basically the demographics where I grew up in Massachusetts. And New Orleans was a little different.
Flip-flop it.
Right? Yeah.
Same with Miami, where it was, 13% white non-Hispanic, right?
Oh, if you don't know a little bit of Spanish in Miami, you're fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What part of Miami were you in? Brickell?
Yeah, well, I lived all over.
Coconut Grove?
I lived in basically every part of Miami. So I lived in the Gables for a while.
I feel like there's
lived in the Grove for a while.
You're hiding some stories here. Were you a drug kingpin down there?
Why are you always moving around so much?
When I moved down there, me and my brother had a place on South Beach. We bought a place on South Beach after college in pre-construction in 2001. Mm-hmm. And the place got done in 2003. And when I was applying to college for grad school, Harvard said no, Stanford said no, and Miami gave me a full scholarship. So I was like, well, I already got a place here. I was living in Jupiter at the time. So
full scholarship in grad school?
Yeah, they paid for 75% of the tuition.
Wow.
And then I got a TA job there. They gave me a TA job. So I was making, $15 an hour, whatever the hell it was.
What was your SAT score? I feel like we're talking to a big brain here. You're too smart to be on the show.
I did pretty well in the SATs. What did I get? A 1470?
What'd you
back
get?
in the day.
My highest?
Yeah.
My English, all the English part were so horrible. My math was would be, if you broke it out, my math.
What's the number?
It's 1080, but my math was 700 of that. And then my reading comprehension, I got better at reading later, but it's I just couldn't focus on it. I don't know.
I got 1330.
Huh?
There's a lot of people who just hate those tests.
1330?
I know people who go in there.
What?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
1330.
You never told me that.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Thank you. Why would
I had friends from high school, I played basketball with, and they just filled out the bubbles, right? They just went, or they made a smiley face or something, and they got their 900 and called it a day.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's bullshit, the SAT, because the 3 sections would be non-math based, and then 2 would be math. And I was like, why is it?
There's a minute after, we all took it that it was a 2400 scale.
Yeah, that's the
and
NFL.
Now I think it's back.
It's back. Yeah, but that's the NFL adding a game. I hate it because all the stats are kind of messed up. You can't compare people to year over year.
Right.
And it messes with me.
The 14-game seasons, and now they got 17-game seasons.
My dad played in the NFL when it was 14-game seasons, but it had been 16 games for 30 years or something like that.
Right.
And it's just a better number. Anyway, but my ACT 27. That's good. Much better.
29. Okay. I wasn't as good.
29. That's what it was. I'm glad I asked that question, and you said 1470 because I get the vibe you're academic, but just like we on our previous episode, we had someone very bright as well, but you're a communicator. I find that interesting. I always find when people are really academically smart as a whip, you can actually talk.
Occasionally.
Yeah, no, but look.
All the time. You could do it all the time.
People that develop an entity, a brand like this, they usually aren't the spokesperson,
Yeah.
And are y'all planning on going international? I guess that's kind of my last question.
We're already international.
Ooh, sorry.
A lot of our clients are from India and Pakistan and Bangladesh and Ethiopia. Yeah, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh are the top 3 markets outside of the U.S. by a landslide. And there's dudes in India who want to sell into the U.S., and they have no way to make a phone call here.
Interesting.
They can't use their cell phone. They're going to be paying, 50
That's
cents
cool.
a minute or whatever. The call's going to be cutting off on them. So we have a bunch of people who want to do business from those countries.
All right. Now my other thought before we let you go is scaling. Yeah, we've got the features, the product features of the actual program, right? The actual website. It sounds like you're scaling pretty quickly. If I had to kind of guess, just talking to you off this episode before and now, going to India, 1 billion people, a lot of call centers there.
I know. I was surprised. It usually goes the other way.
Well, they can't. That makes sense.
It makes sense.
That's so smart of y'all to go.
We just put it out there with Google Ads and with everything, and it's wherever people were coming from. So we didn't restrict it to only the U.S., and we saw that we had more people coming from those markets than we did from the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, and look, I could see this if you had any small call center. I could see anybody wanting to use this. I
am a huge fan of what you have going on. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah,
there's a lot of headaches that you solve in one area.
As our friend of the program, Dean Akers, says, marketing bitches about sales, sales bitches about marketing. The gap needs to close a little bit. And I don't know why they're so separated all the time, but it needs to be like a lot more fluid, And I feel like
you have all the stuff on one platform, right? So if marketing sent out a marketing communication, you can see that they got it. If you're going to call them, they're like, oh, I like that marketing thing you sent, an hour ago. Like, huh? What? Who?
Yeah. Can't complain about a qualified lead in this scenario.
Right. Because it's right in front of you for your sales enablement team or whatever cute name you have for your call center.
Yeah.
your sales champions.
Customer success.
Yeah. Well, appreciate you coming on the show. BigleySales.com is where you can go to grow your business. Phone, text, email, scheduling tasks all on one screen. And unlimited users. That's another good thing y'all are putting out there. Because that's how you get nickeled and dimed. It's like, oh, you want to add a user? Yeah, that's like, the first one's pretty cheap, but you add 2, 3, 4. It gets up to like $50 a user for some reason,
Some of these are way more than that, too.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, if it's just one of you, we're going to charge you $20. But if you want 10 guys on here, now it's $500.
Yeah.
Or if you want to use the bigger version, okay, now we're going to charge $200 a seat. It's $2,000.
Right. It's okay. We'll just share the password.
Yeah, and then get in arguments that we can't get.
Who changed it? I didn't change it. Prove it.
And then who put this data in? Right. Because then everyone's doing the data entry. You don't know who's entering stuff. You don't know who's doing things wrong. All the protocols and everything.
Yeah, I'll echo what Eric was saying. The reporting. If you can get the reporting to be simplified for the big dogs that just need to hop in there and look at it, that's huge. So
that's it.
How much money
they just
did
click
this
on
make
stats. They just go in, they click on stats, they can see literally every text, every email that was sent through the system. They can see what the replies were. They can go to any file. They can check it out.
Well, you didn't want to be hacked talking about ROI, but we talk about ROI is everything for business. So it's like we're all about it. Our slogan's girthy ROI. That's what you want to get. We'll clip that part.
We got We got girthy ROI. All right? I mean, I'm telling you, we have people coming in who are spending $50, $100, and they're getting in, a couple of grand, $5,000, $10,000. We had one guy get $50,000 back. These are the stories I know about right now. But there's people getting, just stupid the ROI that some of these guys are getting off these text campaigns because you can set them out for a penny. You can do like a video text. If you guys who want to talk, right, you could do like a 15-second clip and you could send it out. That's an MMS. It's 3 cents instead of a penny. But you could literally text that out to, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000 people. And more than that if you want to.
No, that's amazing.
I actually have a lot more questions, but
do you,
I'm curious about the list procurement. Like for small businesses, it's not exactly easy. They don't always have their customer database up to snuff. I mean, is it all on the customer to kind of generate that, or how do you guys deal with that?
We tell them the terms and conditions up front. We say, hey, you're supposed to go and you're supposed to do this. You literally just need a checkbox. You need a checkbox on your website that says, hey, I have permission to text you. If you're like a realtor and you have a form, it says, hey, I have permission to text you, I have permission to email you, I have permission to call you. You need like a one-sentence thing that says, I have permission to reach out to you if you do this. And that's all that's required. But then on the other side, if all of a sudden, you're sending out 1 million messages and the people are all reporting spam, they're still going to throw you off, the phone companies. So they're really tightening up. it's a good thing. It means that there's going to be way less spam, way less phishing, way less people trying to steal your identity, because most of the stuff that I saw that was, on my site that was malicious was people trying to steal your grandma's, bank account. Right. Trying to steal her credit card information, trying to steal her social security number. And, you want the phone companies to be tough on that stuff. You don't want people using this to defraud old people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you don't want to. That's birthday card money.
Right. I want that $5.
Yeah.
So we tell people the best practice, but what the stuff that I really care about, that we're gung ho about, if someone's trying to steal people's information, we're going to boot them off the site, within about 15 minutes. And then if they ever sign up again and they try to use the same credit card or the same phone number, the same email address, we're going to block them before they can do anything. And we're trying to get a little more sophisticated and
do it a third time.
Other different
Recording in
no, there is no
progress.
third time. There is no third time.
I hope this is recording the whole time.
It's recording. Chill.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I just heard the Zoom lady say.
I know we don't need the Zoom recording.
But that's the stuff that we really care about, that we're gung-ho about getting, anyone who's a bad actor, who's trying to do criminal activities, we want to get them off there as quickly as possible, not let them back on. Well, and it's a fight, man. Like, my first customers were all Russian hackers.
Really?
I wish I was joking.
No, that's cool.
Yeah, it's not talked about enough. I mean, especially after the election of 2016, with a lot of that stuff going on. How just subverted all that stuff got. Like, I feel like a lot of stuff's coming out of there, like that. That in South Florida. If I see a Boca, if I see a South Florida area code number calling me, I'd never pick it up.
Call from Togo.
If I get a 561 call,
561.
I know 100% of the time it's a telemarketer. Like 100% of the time.
Yeah. Well, we're rooting for this. I'm gonna use it. I'll get Eric on it as well. Maybe we use it for the show.
It, yes.
Yeah. No, I'm interested.
Well, set up a success call, if you need some help, and I'll pay you out. We'll pay you out live if you don't get your 100% ROI.
Okay, cool.
All right.
It is called success. Success call.
Yeah, I like it. Hey, you gotta have a cute name for it. Look, that's how you gotta do it.
That's a cute name. It's the success call. We don't let people fail.
You can tell people, hey, it's a cute name for a sales team on our side. But yeah.
No, what we do differently. I'm telling you, most
you're
of the
gonna
software
upsell,
companies,
cross-sell the whole time.
they throw you to the wolves,
Right,
And
yeah.
they're like, "Here's our stuff. You paid us your money. Now go and figure it out." And we go and we hold your hand and we say, "Here's how you load up all the other people. Here's how you buy your numbers. Here's how you upload your data. We show you how to do it. We do it for you." And then, the second, third time around, you can probably do it on your own. But if you need help, you give us a call.
Right on. I love it. All right.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, Tommy Ryan, thanks for coming on.
Tommy Ryan.
Appreciate you coming on, and we'll be users for sure.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, buddy.
Thank you.